The sun was still high when Madame Ngozi slapped the tray out of Amara's hand, sending plates crashing across the floor. "You think you can disgrace me in my own house?" she shouted, her voice sharp like broken glass. Amara stood frozen, her wrapper stained, her heart pounding. Just hours earlier, a wealthy suitor had walked out on Sonia, and now everything was about to change, because the man they mocked as a poor mechanic was hiding a truth that would shake them all. Amara was not always treated this way. Before her father died, the house was filled with laughter. Food was shared with joy. Her name was spoken with love. But everything changed the moment Madame Ngozi took full control. Slowly, quietly, Amara became invisible. She woke before everyone else, swept the compound, cooked meals she barely ate, washed clothes until her fingers burned. Meanwhile, Sonia sat in the living room, scrolling her phone, laughing loudly, living a life she did not earn. "Amara, have you ironed my dress? Amara, why is this food tasteless? Amara, are you deaf?" The insults never ended, but Amara endured, not because she was weak, but because she had nowhere else to go. One afternoon, Madame Ngozi handed her a list. "Go to the market and don't waste my money." Amara nodded quietly and left. She didn't know that this simple errand would change the entire direction of her life, because on her way back, she would meet someone who saw her not as a servant, but as a human being. And that moment would cost her everything. The sun was unforgiving that afternoon. Amara adjusted the basket on her head as she walked quickly, sweat lining her face. Then suddenly, a loud hiss. Sonia's car had stopped in the middle of the road. "Useless thing," Sonia snapped, stepping out in anger. People gathered, no one helped. Then from across the road, a young man walked forward calmly. Emeka. He said nothing at first, just opened the car and began to check. "Abeg, be careful, oh," Sonia scoffed. "Don't spoil it more. This car is worth more than your entire life." Emeka ignored her. Amara watched quietly. Minutes later, the engine came back to life. Sonia barely said thank you. She just drove off. But Amara didn't move. "Thank you," she said softly. Emeka looked at her, not with pity, but with respect. "It's nothing," he replied. Their eyes met for a brief second. Something calm, something different. Then she walked away. But as Emeka watched her leave, he knew one thing. That girl was not like the others, and somehow their paths were not done crossing. Days later, the house was buzzing. "Everything must be perfect," Madame Ngozi shouted. A rich suitor was coming, Mr. Tunde. Sonia wore her best dress, smiling like a queen ready for her crown. Amara cooked endlessly in the kitchen. When the man arrived, the house fell silent. He was calm, observant, not easily impressed. Sonia laughed too loudly, spoke too quickly. Then it happened. A young maid accidentally spilled a drink. Sonia's face twisted in anger. "Are you mad? Look at what you've done. You people are so useless." The room froze. Mr. Tunde said nothing at first. He simply watched. Then slowly, he stood up. "I'm sorry," he said calmly. "I cannot marry someone without kindness." Silence, shock, disbelief. He turned and walked out. Just like that, everything collapsed. Madame Ngozi's face hardened. Sonia began to cry. And somewhere in the house, Amara felt something shift, because that moment would ignite a storm no one was ready for. Madame Ngozi could not breathe. The shame burned deep. "What will people say?" she shouted. Sonia wept uncontrollably. "This is your fault," Madame Ngozi snapped at Amara suddenly. Amara froze. "Me? Yes, you. Bad luck follows you everywhere. Amara lowered her head, confused and hurt. That evening, the house felt heavy. Madame Ngozi stormed out, unable to contain her anger. As she walked down the road, she saw them, under a quiet tree, Amara and Emeka, talking, not laughing, not touching, just talking. But in Madame Ngozi's eyes, it was something else. Her heart twisted with rage. "So this is it," she muttered. She stepped forward like a storm. "Amara!" Amara turned, startled. Madame Ngozi grabbed her arm. "So you have been chasing men outside? A mechanic?" "No, Mama, it's not like—" "Shut up!" Emeka stepped slightly, but Madame Ngozi's glare stopped him. "Since you like him so much," she hissed, "then go and marry him." And in that moment, Amara's fate was sealed. That night, there was no celebration, no music, no joy, just anger. Madame Ngozi packed Amara's few clothes into a small bag and threw it outside. "Follow your man!" she shouted. Sonia stood by the door, smiling through her tears. "Enjoy your mechanic husband," she mocked. Amara's chest tightened. She looked at Emeka, unsure, afraid. But Emeka simply nodded gently. "I am here," he said. And somehow, those two words gave her strength. They walked away together, into a quiet, unfamiliar life. The house was small, simple, too simple. This was not the life Amara knew. Days passed. She adjusted slowly, but something felt strange. Emeka was not like other men. He spoke with calm confidence. He never complained. He never rushed. And sometimes he would disappear, returning late at night. One evening, a well-dressed man arrived. "Good evening, sir," the man said respectfully. "Sir?" Amara frowned, because nothing was adding up anymore. And she was about to discover that her new husband was hiding something unimaginable. Amara couldn't sleep that night. "Sir?" she whispered to herself. Why would a rich man call a mechanic sir? The next day, she watched closely. Emeka left early again. This time, she followed him, carefully, quietly. He didn't go to the workshop. Instead, he entered a large building in the city. Amara's heart pounded. She waited. Minutes passed. Then suddenly, luxury cars began to arrive. Men in suits, security guards, and then she saw him. Emeka, but not as a mechanic. He stepped out in a clean, expensive suit, confident, commanding, different. People greeted him with respect. "Good morning, sir." Amara's breath caught. Her legs felt weak. "Who is this man?" she whispered. Everything she believed was changing, and deep inside her, fear began to grow. Because if Emeka had lied about this, then what else was he hiding? That evening, Amara sat quietly, waiting, thinking. When Emeka returned, she looked at him differently. "I went to the city today," she said softly. He paused. "I saw you." Silence. Then slowly, Emeka sat down. "I was waiting for this day," he said. Her heart raced. "I am not just a mechanic," he continued. "I own businesses, many of them." Amara blinked. "I chose to live simply, to find someone real." Tears filled her eyes. "All this time? You tested me?" "No," he said gently. "I observed you." He leaned closer. "When your stepsister insulted me, you showed kindness. When you were suffering, you did not become bitter. You passed without even knowing." Amara couldn't speak. Her entire world had flipped. "You are not here by mistake," Emeka said. "You are here because you deserve to be." But far away, Madame Ngozi was about to learn the truth.
And when she did, it would be too late. News spread quickly. "Do you know that mechanic? He is a billionaire." Madame Ngozi laughed at first until she saw it herself. Cars, security, respect. Her body trembled. Sonia's face went pale. "That is Amara's husband." Regret hit them like thunder. "We made a mistake," Sonia whispered. Madame Ngozi grabbed her wrapper. "We must go." They rushed to Emeka's mansion, desperate, ashamed, begging. When Amara saw them, her heart tightened. The same people who threw her out were now kneeling. "Forgive us," Madame Ngozi cried. But something had changed. Amara was no longer that helpless girl. She looked at them, calm, quiet, strong, and in that moment, they realized something painful. They did not lose Amara. They threw away their blessing. Emeka stood beside Amara, his presence calm but powerful. "Stand up," he said gently. Madame Ngozi and Sonia rose slowly, unable to meet their eyes. Amara took a deep breath. "I have no anger left," she said softly. "But I will not return to that life." Tears rolled down Sonia's face. Madame Ngozi said nothing because deep down she understood.
Some doors close forever. Amara turned away, walking back into her new life. Not a life of revenge, but a life of peace. And as the sun set that evening, something became clear. In this world, not everything that looks poor is truly poor, and not everything that shines has value. Character is the true wealth, because one day life will test you quietly, and when it does, what is inside your heart will decide everything. Before you go, think about this for a moment. If Emeka never revealed who he truly was, would Amara still have been worthy? And if life tested you the same way, would you pass without even knowing? Because sometimes the biggest opportunities in life don't come looking rich. They come disguised, watching, waiting. So be careful how you treat people. That nobody today may be the reason your tomorrow changes forever. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because the next story might just change the way you see the world.